Howdy guys and gals, welcome to the Social Regressive. I'm Kyle Broderick.
My name's Kyle Tate.
Kedrick.
All right, we're gonna be testing not just one rifle at a mile, but we're doing 3. So this is the one that at least I've been waiting for a long time. This is the Savage 12 FV. This entire rig, scope, bipod, everything comes out to be less than $1,000, and we're gonna see if it's up to the challenge. We actually just got done shooting all 3 of these rifles at about 900 yards, just a couple of yards short of that. And everything is, it looks like it's tuned in pretty good. We're gonna get some solid hits. I'll roll in some of the footage here so you can see it. But yeah, today I'm going to be shooting, let me just tell you a little bit about what's on this rig. This is an SWFA fixed power 12X scope. So this is one of the inexpensive ones, 300 bucks. Inexpensive rifle, I think it cost me like $220. The stock costs about $200. Bipod costs probably about 20 bucks. Somewhere in there. And all of this, oh, an accurate mag bottom metal. Make sure you check out the whole playlist because we're talking about 15 videos to get this rifle to where it is right now. It took not so much money, but it did take a good bit of work. And some of the other rifles that we have going on here, why don't you tell them about yours?
Well, this is the CMMG Endeavor in the level 300. We've got the HDMR2. This is a 3.5 to 21 power. We're talking, oh, it's got the Warn 20 MOA rail.
Yeah, that's nice.
And let me see.
That's the Ultradon Apollo up top, which is an insane muzzle brake.
Yeah.
It's it has all these fins that point backwards, so actually the guy next to you gets a pretty good wash of hot air.
Yeah. And
it's probably the most efficient and effective brake on the market. I haven't heard of anything else quite as effective. And then that bipod, that's the 2-piece UTG Recon Flex, which is a highly recommended bipod for this kind of shooting. It's very rigid, not going to move around, very, very stable and wide. This one right here is a little bit narrower, but it is still pretty solid. And now this rifle right here, Savage Stealth Evolution in 6.5 Creedmoor. This is the same one that you saw me test out last year. And this has a Blackhawk bipod up front. And then this is really what's going on right here. This is the Bushnell XRS2. This is one of the best rifle scopes I have ever touched before. It has just crystal clear image all the way top to bottom, no matter how you dial this thing. When you get to the edge, you get the same pretty image. And this sucker goes up to, what is it, 30x?
30.
Yeah, 4.5 to 30. So really huge zoom range and some of the best glass that you can get out there. This is a beautiful scope. Now the ammo that we'll be shooting today, I'm shooting 147 grain ELDMs. These two are gonna be shooting 140 grain boat tail hollow points. And we are going for that full mile. We have measured this out and we're gonna be at 1760 yards. Let's get to it.
yeah, let's go.
I won't be able to see Trace though, so good luck to us all.
Compensating.
Yeah, I think did not see.
Target's clean.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5 mile an hour wind. About 1.5 targets left and a full target low. Yeah, wind is low, 5 miles an hour max. It looks like it's actually about 3 right now. You are 1 milliradian under the target. Bring it up 1 full milliradian and you are on. Directly below it. Come up a 1/2 mil. I saw that.
What'd you see, Kyle?
Dust. Big dust.
Where
I'm
at?
well shy of the target.
Oh.
All right, here we go. I'm holding 2 milliradians left.
You. Hit. No hit.
I think that just went right on by. I don't think it hit the ground.
Hit.
I love that.
Top left.
Okay.
Bring it down half target. Bring it to the right half target.
Gotcha.
That whizzed right by.
I'm gonna take one more shot, and then somebody else can get on it.
One more shot.
I think maybe that one was high. I didn't hear it hit.
Maybe a little high, we're not sure.
Okay. All right. Ooh. Tate, you up?
Whoa! That hit the frame. That hit metal again. I'm not making this up. Okay, nice shot.
Ooh.
Okay, yes. You have hit to the right of your target.
Okay.
Did you pull that one?
That last one I felt was a tad low. Just a
Okay.
little bit.
Actually, elevation was just right.
That sounded different.
I think that was over the target. It sounded like it impacted pretty far out there.
Whoa! Woo!
A beautiful hit.
That's schmexy.
Here, tell you what. I can see the impact. You are right up at the top where I made my hit.
Okay, I'll send some more just like that. You use the same recipe. I gave it 5 mils for wind and 29 for elevation.
Do it. Yeah, that one seemed like it was high.
I'm out. I'm out of ammo. That's it.
Okay, so you got one on the board.
Yay!
Good work.
Woo! Okay, that sounded pretty good. It struck in front of the target.
Hey!
You hit just to the right of the bullseye. Whatever you did, do it again now.
That was a hit.
Just below the target. Beautiful shot. Just bring it up. exactly where the tripod is. That's how low it was. Just under the target. Looks good.
All right, I think I'm good.
Kyle, you still need to shoot with that other scope, right?
Yeah, that's cool with you guys.
Okay, let's do that and then pack up. We're freaking hot.
Yeah, it's getting pretty rough.
We have 3 rounds on target with the SWFA, and now it's time for the Nikon FX1000 4-16 by 50 millimeter scope. This is one that I've also zeroed for this rifle and got it all torqued down. This has been just a great scope in some of the other tests that I've done. It tracks perfectly well. I'll do a full review on this, but for now, we're gonna get on target at a mile. I cleaned some of the mud off your dingo.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I don't have anything to report here. It sounded like you were in the right vicinity, but I didn't hear it hit anything.
Okay.
That hit the ground, I think below the target, but I can't see where.
Okay. I'm gonna aim top edge of target.
Okay. I think it was pretty low.
Whoa, I saw that.
That was a ricochet.
That was way low.
But you saw it,
He
huh?
saw it.
Okay, I didn't see it. I sure heard it, though. That was cool.
Just below the target. I saw that.
Good. Glad you saw it. I'm useless.
This scope rocks, dude.
Oh, nice. Oh. That went into the dirt somewhere past the target.
Okay. I think I'm pretty much right on it, though. Tell you what, to make this a little easier, I'm gonna dial my wind.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that hit the ground just past the target again.
Okay.
So you're really close.
I have 4 shots to get this right.
Oh! That hit the dirt, geez. Right at the front of the frame. That's where it hit the dirt. And I think that was on the left side.
Okay.
Yes! Hit!
Nailed it.
That was, 8 inches from the bullseye? Maybe? That's at about 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was an extra 2.5 up. Guys, this scope is awesome. I am dialed pretty much to the edge right here, and I can still see the bullseye on the target out there. Yeah, it's looking just great through here. So yeah, I'm totally bottomed out on the turret, and then I'm using the reticle inside here to get that. It's an extra 2.5 milliradians or so.
Nice. I had to give it an extra 8 milliradians in the reticle.
Wow. Yeah, we gotta re-zero that puppy. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here it comes.
Boom. 2 in a row.
I think that was near the right edge. There's a hit there on the right edge that I don't recognize. So that's about 4 o'clock, just a few inches from the edge.
Okay. All right. I'll dial back just a little bit then. The wind is dying out here.
Not much. I mean, you're on it.
All right, this is my last shot.
Ooh, that hit something metal.
Yeah.
Did not hit the target.
All right, Kyle's recommendation, buy the scope. I'd say that there's only one thing to watch out for on this scope, and that is the parallax adjustment here on the side. On the outside, you have a dial for it's a rheostat for the illumination in the reticle, but then there's one on the inside of that for parallax adjust. And while it's very precise, it's also very difficult to turn. You really have to crank it. At least it's going to stay put once you get it in place. There you have it, folks. Hits on steel. And this rifle has turned out exactly the way that I wanted it to. It just plain works all the way around. The pillar bedding and the epoxy bedding came out just picture perfect in those previous videos. All the parts have come together really well. Totally free-floated barrel. All the work that we put into it has paid off, including the magazine pickup right here. As long as I didn't short shuck it, which I did a couple times, then it picked up around every time. Very smooth to feed. This rifle, I highly recommend it. If you want to build out a rifle for hitting longer distances, I mean, maybe the mile is silly, but today, and I didn't actually mention this earlier, but the SWFA scope that we started out with, this is the Nikon, but the SWFA, that $300 scope, I hadn't actually zeroed it before we started shooting. What I did is I had this scope, which was perfectly zeroed, and I locked the rifle down in a vise, figured out where this was pointing, took it off, put the SWFA on, tightened it back down, and we made hits at a mile with it. Come on, I mean, wow. That right there is a great testament to that scope. That's pretty amazing.
Now you tell me. Awesome.
Yeah, I was telling Tate about that earlier. So yeah, this rig worked out really well. What did you guys think of your rifles today?
Oh, love it as ever.
Did you find any of your brass?
Yeah, all in the pile. All right there together.
Okay.
And then I left it there. Still in the grass. We'll go back and get it.
That's the thing about an AR-10. I actually brought a brass catcher. No, I left it at home.
You did not bring a brass catcher.
No.
Which is why we didn't use it.
So, how did yours run today?
Evolution was awesome. The glass on the scope's just insane. I mean, being able to see the details of the pins and things at a mile is just pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, this right here is the scope of the day. That one it's a freak, because you were dialed all the way to the extreme, but you were able to see...
I had to back the magnification off because of my compensation.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so you had to hold over. I had to do the same thing with the, actually with the SWFA, I didn't have to hold over. I had enough dialed on there. It's 30 milliradians up and down, and all I had to do was just dial and I was on with that one. This one, I did have to dial and then hold over. And you definitely had to dial and hold over.
Yeah, today, when we made hits at a mile with the CMMG, we were at 29 milliradians of elevation. So I maxed out at 21 milliradians in the turrets, and then I used the reticle for the remaining 8.
Yeah, and I ended up at about 24.2 after I did all the math. So yeah, you can definitely see the difference between the bullets. Like, you guys are both shooting the BTHP Match 140s. These are the ELDMs, and they do seem to be a lot cleaner through the air. They seem to go supersonic or subsonic much further out. So let me show you some of the impacts here. I think, what was it, the ones up here, these were the first two?
This one and this one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and let's see, that was Tate right there. And that was you, Kedrick. And I can't remember which were which. We'll go back in the footage and show which one is which. But yeah, once it did take a little while to actually get on target, but once we got there, it seemed like we were at least close. We were peppering around the target, if not hitting it. So yeah, that worked out well. Let me just show you some of the other equipment out here for you guys that just want to stick around and see some of the ancillary things. I'm gonna grab the camera. All right, we have a long distance to deal with. Way down there, 1,760 yards as measured by this Nikon Monarch 3000 rangefinder. This is the one that I tested a while back. It has a gyro inside it, so you can basically stand and get whatever distances you need. Now, it couldn't get this distance. We couldn't get enough bounce off any of the objects that we have here to be able to tell, so we had to do it in 2 shots. We kind of went to a midway point where we had that 900-yard target, and we figured out the distance between the two, and that's how we arrived at this. And this is really the same as our last setup. But when it comes to actually seeing some of our impacts, this is what we use today, the Bullseye camera system by SME. And this is just a camera in a box. It attaches to an antenna right back there. And that is actually sending a Wi-Fi. This is a Wi-Fi router, and it's sending its signal way down there to us. We have a base station where we can pick up that signal and maybe boost it if we need to, way down there. But actually, so far, all we've needed is that. It is extremely powerful, and here in this on this farmland, at least, it seems to get enough projection that we don't even need the base station. We could probably get out past 2,000 yards easily with all of it together and be able to still pick up the signal. But yeah, it goes to the app that they have on there that you can put on your mobile device, so you can see your impacts, mark which ones your shots were, which we weren't that good about today. I'll talk more about this system at some point. But yeah, you can mark which ones were which, who shot what shots, and yeah, it worked out. But the one thing that this can't do is show where the misses are. It takes about a picture every second and sends it back rather than kind of showing live video. So you can't really, see if you've hit the dirt or anything like that. For that, we definitely needed the spotting scope, and we were having a lot of trouble today, like we thought we would. But yeah, we do have a GoPro set up right here that's been recording the whole time, and we'll be able to see some of the close misses that we had and kind of see where we were working around the target. All right, well, thank you very much, you guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you to everybody that made these videos possible, bought parts for the rifle. Thank you, patrons of the Destructive Arts, for actually buying the rifle itself and a bunch of the things that went on it. Thank you to Nikon for hooking us up with the scope to play with, SWFA as well. Boyd sent the stock. We're playing with some of our parts, some of theirs, and it really did all come out really well. So yeah, thank you, patrons of the Destructive Arts. If anybody else wants to chip in $1 or $2 a month, I'll put a link to Patreon, and we'll have more projects coming up in the future, including a test of 458 SOCOM and 350 Legend, hopefully actually on live game. And that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a real blast. Big booms. I'd like to thank the patrons of the Destructive Arts at the 338 Lapua Magnum level. That's Sportsman's Guide and Stan and Mary. And thank you to Peter at the 300 Win Mag level. And thanks to everybody else. Every little bit has helped to keep the ammo coming and all the consumables that we go through, and to be able to come out here and spend the gas and all that. Thanks a lot, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. This project is over.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These 2 videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.